Batman Returns is the second Tim Burton directed Batman film to star Michael Keaton in the role of the Caped Crusader, as well as new additions of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman and Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Don't worry guys, we're getting real close to the bat nipples. We just gotta get licked by a couple dozen cats, crawl through the sewers, meet a bunch of penguins, and die 9 times. What's up everybody, welcome back to The Has Project. I'm John Rodalaza, and today we're continuing on the Batman movie review marathon where I cover all the films from 1989's Batman, the Tim Burton directed film starring Michael Keaton, his sequel, all the 90s ones, the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, and if the movie doesn't get delayed, we're gonna review a little bit more, maybe. All in the lead up to Robert Pattinson's The Batman that should be dropping March 4th, but today we're talking about Batman Returns from 1992. Let's talk about it. Now again, I think this is one of the films I bought on VHS for like a quarter or something at a Goodwill, and I don't remember a whole lot of this film. I do remember watching more of Batman Forever and Batman and Robin growing up because as a kid, as a young child, you gravitate towards the thing with the more characters in it, not with the one with the crazy, creepy characters like the Penguin. Now if you guys haven't seen my review I did of Batman 1989, the first Tim Burton directed film, it's not my favorite Batman. It's not my favorite Batman film. I appreciate the love and craft that Tim Burton puts into his films, but his style is just not for me. That's why I haven't seen all of his films, or the majority of them. But I can appreciate what that film had to offer, and some of those good things did carry over into this sequel. Fortunately, we don't get Kim Basinger back as Vicky Vale. That's just out of the window. She doesn't exist in this universe anymore. Oh, maybe she does. Maybe there's like one line he says something about where he says like it doesn't work out or something. But we still get the really cool Bruce Wayne. I like Michael Keaton in the role. I think he's really good. I think he's a little more defined in this movie. You know, I like him a lot more in here, whereas the other one, he was cool and all, but I couldn't really connect with him very well. In here, I like him a lot more. I think that dynamic between him and Michelle Pfeiffer's character of Selina Kyle, I like that a little bit more than the dynamic between Bruce and Vicky Vale. Even though I do like Kim Basinger a lot more in that role, but the romance just never really like clicked for me. And here I like that back and forth of like they're into each other, but they're also like as Batman and Catwoman, they're clashing. But I will say, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in here, the Catwoman stuff, everything that was written for her is kind of bad. Like it's not great, dude. I mean, so she works for Christopher Walken, which I totally forgot was in this movie. I just don't have that memory in my head. So he's in the movie and he's this rich guy who's running for mayor, I guess. Selina Kyle is his assistant, and she forgot to give him the speech that he needs to deliver to the people of Gotham. So he saves himself. He does a fine enough speech. Then he goes into the office during the late hours and sees Selina Kyle. Then they have this very tension-filled scene where it looks like he's about to kill her, and then he turns into a joke a little bit. She laughs, and then he just shoves her right out the window. Out of like, what, 10 stories? She falls straight into the alley, dead. Presumed dead. Up until the act of cats. Just when we thought our favorite female assistant was presumed dead, a dozen cats just come out of nowhere and lick her blood. She is just laying there in this dark alley, bleeding out, and these cats come, like I'm talking more than 9 cats. There was definitely 10 to 20 cats in this scene, just swarming her, licking her fingertips where there's blood, and what, like, cat saliva's getting in your bloodstream? Oh my god, and the part that kills me is when the camera, after it shows all the cats licking her, it shows her face with her eyes closed, and then the eyes just suddenly open, and the color of her eyes are white. Then she stumbles back into her apartment. She starts throwing stuff around. Like, before they show this same tracking shot of her going through her entire apartment, you know, just another day, another crappy day. But now she's rejuvenated with cat blood in her and she's torturing the place. She's just throwing things, breaking glass, destroying her knickknacks and whatnot, and then she goes into her closet. She shuffles through all the clothes to the very back, finds this black dress takes it off the hanger, grabs some scissors, walks over to the sewing machine, starts cutting, and it just shows for about 3 minutes, but what felt like an hour of Selina Kyle just cutting up this black leather dress, sewing up a bunch of random ass seams all over the damn thing, and this is her montage. It's so dumb. It's the most awkward transformation from ordinary being to comic book character, and I just did not like it. It was laughable. At least it was some level of enjoyment for me. It wasn't just me sitting there like, oh god, this is bad. Like, no, I was kind of laughing at the whole thing. It was so weird. Like, what was that? But now we're past all the cringy stuff with Catwoman. I think after Selina Kyle becomes Catwoman, it's pretty decent. She's actually entertaining and like an interesting character after that. Like, I like that side of her. It was just that transition that was the most awkward thing of the movie, in my opinion. It does not work for me, but if they had just introduced her in the beginning of the movie as already being Catwoman, we didn't have to see this very wonky and out of left field origin of her getting licked in the dark alley, presumed dead by a dozen cats. I don't even feel like I'm in the weirdest part of the movie yet. So the movie opens up with this baby being carried by this couple, and the couple throws the baby into the sewer. They throw the baby into the sewer, and it's because the baby has some sort of birth defect. Like, it opened up with the woman giving birth and they're screaming. That's when they throw it into the sewer, and it's the penguin. The penguin grows up in the sewer, and he's got these weird, like, claw-like hands where it's like they did something where they, like, glued his fingers to where it looks like he's got only, like, 3 giant, like, fin flipper type thing. It's weird, dude. I think with Tim Burton having that horror sensibility in him, I can see him seeing the character of the penguin and turning it into kind of a horror movie villain. Like, it kind of works. I could see why he did that. I think it was a good change, because I have a feeling Penguin's not like that. He's more like a mobster in the comics, and at least everything I've seen him in TV shows or video games, he's not this. He's not this outcast that was thrown into the sewer, and like, why are there penguins in the sewer of Gotham? So for the first half of the film, the penguin is trying to reach the surface level, find his parents. He finds out his name is Oswald Cobblepot, and his parents are dead. So he will never find out, at least I don't remember him finding out, that his parents just threw him in the sewer because he thought it was ugly. I think he could just put the pieces together. So for the first bulk of his scenes, it's him trying to find his parents, and then he finds out that they're dead. Then he starts to run for mayor, which is kind of weird. He then starts to set up these scenes where he's, acting like a hero in front of the people of Gotham so that they vote for him, and then one little slip up and then they're all against him. And then all of a sudden he just kind of flips it all on its head and becomes the villain, the super villain. It was kind of cheesy, but if you ask me, Danny DeVito, I think he pulls out the role, and I like to see a different performance out of Danny DeVito, because his stature might lend himself to like being typecast to one particular role. At least I haven't seen all of his movies or anything, but I can see Hollywood doing that with him. At least nowadays, now he's literally just Frank Reynolds all day, every day for like 15 years now. But I think what Tim Burton was going for with a more horror-themed penguin, I think Danny DeVito pulls it off, and he's really good in the role, albeit it's very weird, wacky, and the turn doesn't really make sense to me. But I will say, one of the things that kind of let me down a little bit rewatching the 1989 Batman film was the action. It just felt kind of lackluster to me. There's still some in there, and action wasn't filmed as awesome as it is today. Like, it's really good today, dude. Like, you can't find terrible action these days. I mean, there obviously is, but you find more good action than bad these days. And this movie, it's a little bit better. I like it a little bit more. You get a little bit more hands-on Batman, throwing the punches and whatnot. I like that. And once again, Tim Burton is able to capture that vibe of a dark and gritty Gotham City. And as well, Danny DeVito with the score, bringing it back, dude. He remasters some of his themes from the first one. The Batman theme is still in here, still going strong, and I love it, dude. It is a really menacing theme, and I love it, dude. It's really good. Guys, in the end, Batman Returns is not that bad. I kind of enjoy it a tiny bit more than the first one, although the overall plot felt more coherent in the first one, albeit I just don't really care too much about mobster Joker, but it just felt kind of sloppy in here. The way things went down, and like Catwoman siding with the Penguin and then going against the Penguin and then going against Christopher Walken's character. Christopher Walken's character is just like, I don't really care too much for it, so I don't know why he's here. But Michael Keaton as Batman, he does pull off the role and he does carry the movie. Same thing with the directing of Tim Burton. I think he has crafted a pretty decent movie here. So that is my review for Batman Returns. Let me know down below, have you ever seen it? If not, well, I mean, it's not my fault. This movie actually is turning 30 years old this year. That's pretty crazy. I will be doing other movie review anniversaries later on in the year. I don't want to spoil too much, but I will say I'm going to review a movie that has to do with a certain boat gets hit by a certain ice cube. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys, and be sure to check out my other review I did of Batman 1989, the first Tim Burton and Michael Keaton Batman film. And as well, stay tuned because I'm going to be reviewing Batman Forever next week, and then Batman and Robin the week prior. And then after that, we're going to start up the Dark Knight trilogy reviews. I'm excited for those. And then we're going to cap it off with Batman The Dark Knight Returns, the animated film, all in the lead up to Robert Pattinson's The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, albeit if it does not get delayed. Please do not get delayed. As always, guys, stick around the channel because there is more to come.